It's Faith Rivera here on Aloha Rising, where we talk mana, music, magic, and more. Today we have a very, very special guest for you, and I'm going to tell you all about him and then pop him on. You're going to be so happy that you tuned in. So our guest today is an author of 31 popular inspirational books, including the best-selling A Course in Miracles Made Easy. Also the award-winning A Deep Breath of Life, and the classic Are You As Happy as Your Dog? Isn't that the best title? He is a contributing writer for the New York Times number one best-selling series, Chicken Soup for the Soul. His books have been translated into 32 foreign languages. And yes, his work has been featured on CNN, USA Today, The Washington Post, and so much more. He is the founder and director of the Foundation for Holistic Life Coaching. Our guest today is also included in the book of 101 top experts who make our lives better. So guess who's here? It is Alan Cohen, here to make our life better today. So let's welcome in Alan Cohen. Aloha.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Alan, where are you tuning in from?
I'm in Kauai, Hawaii.
Oh, you're a local, right? You're pretty much a local.
Yeah. I just passed my 39th year in Hawaii. Can you believe it?
Wait, have you lived here longer than me?
Maybe I have.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Alan.
So blessed. So very blessed.
Yeah, so truly, you are local at heart. So I know you know the word mana, which is included in, the title of my show. And so it talks about spiritual energy and this life force that extends beyond the physical, right? So can you share, Alan, that moment or that time when you knew, okay, there's got to be more than what I see. There's got to be more than this 3D world as far as like mana goes. Yeah.
I took a tour group to France, to the Cathedral of Saint Teresa of Lisieux, a famous saint. And as we were leaving, I saw a sign that said, "To the Crypt." Now, crypts are not really attracted to me. I think of Edgar Allan Poe and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I sat down to meditate where her bones are. And it's really hard to describe because I felt like I was lifted out of my body. And it wasn't like Casper the Friendly Ghost, floating around the ceiling. I felt like my body just kind of drifted far, far into the distance. And I had this sense of being at one with the whole universe. I felt like all there was life. All there was love. The physical plane was just a tiny speck of dust compared to the whole cosmos. And I knew God is real and all is well and all is really life. And that's it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to stay here forever. But like 20 minutes later, I was back in my body. But it was back in my body. Now it was like, here it was again, sitting in my body. Follow?
Yeah.
Like I was lifted out and then I came back in. Yeah. And that was probably the most profound moment in my life where I realized that there's so much more to life than what the physical senses can see and touch. And I've dedicated my life to getting back into that consciousness as much as possible. I don't always succeed, but it's all about life. A Course in Miracles says there's no such thing as death, that life just keeps on going on, changing forms and expanding. And so we're living beings living in a living universe, and everything else is detail.
Was that early on in your journey? Because you were already exploring cathedrals, so you were on the path already, obviously, at that point.
Yeah. When I was 13, I took up Judaism as my spiritual practice. I was very strict. I got bored with it after 7 years and took drugs. I started searching for truth in other places, which led me to meditation and healing and Ram Dass and A Course in Miracles. Yeah. So I've always been hungry for a higher reality than most people recognize. And that's been my driving force in my life.
Wow. Well, it's amazing because I've been lucky enough to spend some time with you. So, I consider you a friend, even though we're still getting to know each other. But it's interesting. I remember when you'd share your story, and I love how I feel like you've always flowed. Like you said, you'd go from the next thing to the other. versus my story of the fear part. And it's so funny when you talked about your being lifted out of your body. That happened to me once,
Mhm.
I think when I was in bed as a teenager, but I went to complete terror. You know,
Ah,
I mean, like what you had was not me. It was all like, am I going to get back in my body? Am I? And it's like, wow, our filters or whatever you call those make such a difference in our experiences.
yeah. Well, light and love can be scary to the ego. And
Yeah.
so, very often, when somebody's about to take a spiritual step to a greater dimension, the old mind comes in and goes booga, 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 trying to scare
Yeah.
you. And, it'll succeed for a moment, but, what's the alternative? You just have to keep going.
Well, okay, yes. I mean, you make it sound easy. But I'll tell me, have you noticed this living in the islands? I love my Filipino heritage. And yet, from some of these cultures, again, not to blame, but that grow up with Catholicism, it seems to mingle with that guilt and the
Yeah.
fear. And it's a lot to overcome. Like in my own journey, Alan, I feel like I've had my own fear, but there's a collective thing behind me that I know I'm healing or breaking through. Does that make sense?
Well, absolutely. Ernest
Yeah.
Holmes talked about
Yeah.
what he called race mind. And that's really just like a big cloud of negative thought that surrounds the earth. And
Uh-huh.
most people, unfortunately, participate in and feed it and feed from it. And so when you go into fear, you're actually joining the collective history of everyone who's ever been afraid on the planet. And that's a lot. So it really does take a lot of gumption and intention and perseverance to hold the light in the midst of a world where most people have gone crazy. It's pretty much what's happening now. So anybody who can hold their center in the space of fear really is
Yes.
making a huge contribution.
Alan, you said it so beautifully, and that's really the inspiration, the reason why, me, like who knows me, but that I'm doing this show. It's really that is how can we hold our center together? I know your teachings have really, it's beyond this too, but I know a core of it is a course in miracles. And so would you explain, to our listeners and also to me, what is that definition of miracle and that understanding of miracle?
Well, in my understanding, of course, a miracle is a
Uh-huh.
shift in perception
A shift in perception. Okay.
from fear to love, from doubt to trust,
Mm-hmm.
from separation to connection. It's a
Mm-hmm.
change in mind that allows you to see the reality of love where you weren't observing it before. And so people think it's somebody jumping out of a wheelchair, raising the dead. That's all good stuff. That's all good stuff. But
Yeah.
really, when you're angry at your neighbor and you let go, or you
Mm-hmm.
feel guilty and you find your innocence, that's a
Mm-hmm.
miracle.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
real miracle. Yeah.
No, that is a miracle. And I mean, tell me what you believe. I mean, I know you're very, into your practice and all that, but talking about miracles in the way you've defined them. On the one hand, we look at the news and all the headlines, and it could feel very miracle less or,
Yeah.
no miracles. And yet, as I start to look at like more and more people, they're becoming vegan or they're really getting their health. Or I mean, I'm seeing this personal individual revolution happening that really there are miraculous things. I mean,
Well, the cool thing about social challenge is that it forces people to go within and decide, what do I really believe?
yeah,
And there's a group of people on the planet, it's a subset of the whole population,
yeah,
who would rather be at peace and fight, who would rather talk about love than politics, who would rather enjoy their family rather than try to make somebody wrong.
yes,
And,
yes,
and in that situation, you're really forced to go in and choose, make a different choice than the masses are making. And that's kind of a pun because we could talk about the Catholic masses too, when we're talking about the masses of people. And
yes,
we're really, it's really pushing a lot of people to show up and claim their dedication to the light. And that's holy. Gandhi said that one person who generates love is more powerful than 1,000 immersed in fear.
yes.
So when you put this podcast out or a song, as you
Mm-hmm.
well know, you're putting out ripples and vibrations that are really transforming lots of people that you never meet. So each of us must stay on our path to give what we can in the way we feel most passionate about giving it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you're helping me not come to terms, but I already knew this, but on my other podcasts, I'd be a co-host and I'd be the unicorn, the positive one on this show. And we'd always talk about this idea of, is it spiritual bypass? And I've become very clear. And spiritual bypass means like, oh, we just say, oh, it's happy, it's good, like on a surface level.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about and what I'm talking about is an intentional, like, effort or focus to see what is love there, to know that you're love. And
yeah, I mean, you realize that dark stuff is going on. There's a lot of ugliness in the world. We're not denying that. But we also have the power to transcend it. I mean, you could accuse Jesus of spiritual bypassing when he said, when your eye is single, the whole world, your whole body's be filled with light.
yeah.
Say, oh, Jesus, you're not looking with two eyes. You should watch the news more. Why don't you look at CNN, dude? But he was so committed to single vision that he ended up healing all kinds of people that were unhealable for 18 to 38 years because he spiritually bypassed their disease and focused only on their wholeness. So if that's what spiritual bypassing is, sign me up.
Yeah. Well, now you've been coaching and having retreats and really being with people. What could you share some of those examples of the miracles that you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. Well, one of my clients was 7 years old as a child, and her dad has suffered from PTSD, and he was prone to unexpected violent outbursts. And one night when she was 7, she's an adult now, when she was 7, her father took out a gun and lined up his wife and 5 children against the wall and said, I'm going to kill you all, and then I'm going to shoot myself. Oh my God. And of course, everyone went hysterical except this girl. She said, oh, no, you're not, Daddy. And she lunged to hug him.
Wow.
And when he was confronted with the girl's innocent love, he dropped the gun, broke into tears, and fell to the floor, and his family went to comfort him. So to me, it's a very extreme situation, obviously.
Yes.
But it shows you how a moment of innocent loving can offset the most horrid fear. And each in their own way, we're called to do that, not in such extreme circumstances, but really, what else is there to do? You have to be a lover in the face of fear. That's all you can do.
Yes. What? That is a really extreme, yet I mean, it just paints a really clear example of what the power of love can do. So in everyday life, I guess, as far as practices, I mean, what are those practices? Is it simply just to decide, okay, I'm going to try to see more love or be more loved? Do you have any hacks, tips, tricks?
It's about reframing. In my coach training, we teach reframing. And reframing means to take a situation that seems dark or negative or threatening from one angle and find another way to look at it that's healing. So example is, there's this little restaurant near the beach I go to, and there was these tourists that came. They had really intense energy, and they were sitting on the picnic table and squirting toxic sunscreen around and cursing and smoking. And I thought, why are these people coming?
Where's the miracle here? No kidding.
Why are these people coming to ruin my island? My beautiful island. I thought, okay, is there another way to look at it that's healing? I thought, well, maybe these people came for relaxation and healing. Maybe the beauty of the island will rub off on them. Maybe the softness of Kauai and the mountains and the ocean will soothe them. So maybe they have some bad habits. But, I came to the islands to be healed. And so why would I deny them their right to be healed? So judgment is seeing somebody from a particular viewpoint in a particular moment and fixating on that as if that's the truth about them. When really, when you expand your vision, there's a bigger truth that's revealed if you're willing to see it.
Yeah. Well, you just reminding me of what I've been thinking recently, because I just went through something I'll share with you. But it's in a strange way, it's a head game in one way, but I think it's a head game, like you said, to reframe, and then your heart can soften up and find that love. And so my personal example is I told you these past 2 days after coming off of a wonderful Alaska trip where I indulged in too many sweets, I had the most horrendous head cold for 2 days of laying in bed, and you're literally just with your thoughts. And so it was this battle between, whatever, like, oh, it sucks, it hurts so bad, I have all this work, and me consciously putting that in background, going like, channeling love and light into my cells. And that's actually what I wanted to ask you, because it took me a lot of effort, like to do my Silva meditation and to do all my practices. After, there was a little part of me in the back going like, screw this. Like, like I was like, what I mean? That just was like, why are you? So it was a definite battling of light and dark,
Yeah.
And so, sorry, you have
Oh,
something.
well, we all have that. I mean,
Yeah.
an Irish poet named Ian McLaren said, "Be gentle with everyone because everyone is fighting a hard inner battle." And so we all have those two voices. This, I want to be healed, but this is crazy and I'm sick. And so let's have some compassion for ourselves. We all have that negative voice. And so the question is, for me, is how soon, I go into negativity now and then, how soon can I get back to my right mind? So let's not beat ourselves up for not being perfect, getting sick. The question is, what's it going to take for you to get your head on straight again and feel better? Whatever trick, use Silva, that's cool. There's a million methods, but whatever it takes to get back in your right mind is really worth doing.
Well, that's why I was kind of laughing, because, I was doing my gratitude, but, kind of with a little, not stinky attitude, but I fully wasn't like, feeling the love and be like, okay, I love my family. I love this bed. I love it, but I did it. So I was proud of myself. And I knew the head cold would,
and you built a muscle, a spiritual muscle that will help you the next time something like that comes up. So it wasn't for naught. It wasn't a problem. It wasn't a loss, that you were really in training for higher dimension.
Yeah. Oh no, I trusted. I knew I'd be fine by the time I got to see you,
Well, you look fantastic and you're radiant. So let's define you as a beautiful, radiant soul. How's that sound?
Oh, I love that, Alan. I'm just reflecting you and everyone listening. I wanted to ask you this question, and then I thought, does this question make sense? I was going to ask, what's the greatest miracle you've ever experienced? And yet, okay, and you can answer both. Abraham Hicks says that, when you're attracting a button or a castle, it's all the same. So I was wondering, maybe that's not a real question. Or is it? What's the greatest miracle you've ever experienced?
It's a hard one because I've had so many.
Yeah.
Well, the first that comes to mind, when I was like 21 or so, I went with my girlfriend to a rock festival in Puerto Rico.
Cool.
And those are the days of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, literally. And so,
you did them all.
I did them all. Yeah, I was 100%. I did everything diligently. And one night, thousands of hippies camped out on the beach. And one night, after my girlfriend and I went to sleep, I got up and I took a walk along the beach. And I did probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. I would walk along and people would put like little pills in my hand and I would down them, and I had put liquor in the other hand, I would down it. And it was pretty gnarly.
Okay.
And I had what was known as a bad trip.
Okay.
And I went into like a paranoid fantasy that these local Puerto Rican guys who were hanging around had raped and killed my girlfriend.
Oh my God.
And they were going to come and kill me. And I really, when you're in paranoia, it seems real.
Yeah.
And I did not believe I would ever see the light of day. But somehow the drugs wore off. And I remember sitting on a rock watching the sunrise and knowing that it was all going to be okay, that this fantasy I went into was just a nightmare. It was not real. And I realized for the first moments of my life what grace is, which means that in spite of our utter stupidity, we have grace and we're loved.
Yes.
And the things that we're so afraid of are really more nightmares than reality. And when you relax and come out on the other side, there's the love of God waiting to greet you and say, I love you and everything is okay. So to me, it was a great training in the truth of grace, which I've never forgotten and which has only expanded since that time many years ago.
Well, yes, now you go to different kind of gatherings.
Yeah, yeah.
Meaning like this retreat that you are doing in February that I'm so lucky I get to be a part of again. Could you tell everyone about that? And it is filled with grace and love and aloha, I must
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Well, it's based on A Course in Miracles. It's a 4-day retreat, 5-day retreat on a beautiful retreat center in the Big Island of Hawaii. And we do is we get together and we go deep into what does it take to choose love over fear, and who am I really, and what's the nature of my true connection with my brothers and sisters. So it's really there's exercises, there's meditations, there's laughter, there's music. We have this fantastic musician named Faith Rivera. She just energizes
Pretty
everybody.
good.
Even the most boring people want to get up and dance when she sings. And so it's really a celebration of the presence of love in our lives. Plus, what we really seek to do is build skills so we
Yes.
can take the retreat home with us and make our life at home more like the retreat instead of a black and white difference. So I
Yes.
love doing this. I've been doing it for many years. And it's my joy to work with people who are really sincere about opening their hearts to a greater life. So, I mean, what better profession could you have than hanging out with people in the Love Fest for 5 days and getting high with everybody spiritually? I mean, to me,
Yeah.
it's better than any drug I ever took.
Well, and not to mention the backdrop of the Big Island, the beauty of that nature, that ocean that's there, and great food. So yeah, it's February 23rd to the 27th, and we will have links for the retreat because it is limited. I think there's only maybe
Yeah, like the 30-ish people. Yeah, we're about
30-ish
half full
people.
already. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So before we end, Alan, I like to do this part in our show called the aha. And yeah, there's a the aha. No, there is. But the aha is, insight from our time together or something you just really want to
Yeah.
leave our listeners with. Yeah.
Well, my insight is your bright energy.
Yeah.
That you're such a light bulb. And even though you weren't feeling well,
Yeah.
somehow you showed up and you're just radiant and shining and laughing and asking great questions. So,
Mhm.
I know how much you strive to be the light of the world. And as far as I'm concerned, you're succeeding. So
Oh my
I've
gosh.
enjoyed basking in your presence as always.
Oh my gosh, Alan. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I was going to say my aha, or the thing that impacted me most is you're like the roots, like just so deep in the love that you've experienced. And if I were envious, and I keep wondering, I'm like, is this from Haole culture? Like, if Filipinos have joy and fear and music, do Haoles have like just go for it? I'm sorry, Haoles. For those of you listening, it usually means Caucasians or foreigners. But I'm like, is that a Caucasian thing? Just so bold and just do whatever?
I think we all have boldness in us if we're willing to activate it, really.
Well, it's true. It's true.
I
It's true.
consider you bold, so
Okay. I am in certain ways,
you
but
are.
your groundedness in that love, like you're just living an example of it. And so I
Thank
have to
you.
remember next time I'm doubting, I just go think of Alan's roots, you
Thank
know?
you. Think of Alan on the beach, escaping from the drugs and seeing the sunrise.
Yeah, that.
That was a miracle, yeah.
And then one final fun thing that I think is fun is called the dare. I think, with COVID and everything going on in the world, like you were saying earlier, I mean, this is the time for us to, whatever, delve into that greater part of us. So, what is your challenge, your invitation for them to try, for our listeners to try out for a
Yeah.
week or two?
It's a subtle one. It's
Mm-hmm.
dare to choose innocence.
Wow.
In other words, the next
Wow.
time you feel guilty about something,
Wow.
ask yourself, if I were innocent, if I knew I was innocent, how would I be seeing myself differently? And conversely, the next time you're choosing to see somebody else as guilty, if they were really innocent, how would I see them differently? So it sounds kind of light and subtle, but it's actually ultimately transformational.
That is not light or subtle. That could I stop myself but that could bring me to tears if people could just remember your innocence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. That is so beautiful. Yeah, I'm not even going to add my dare because that dare is pretty big. That dare is, yeah. Thank you. So we are challenging everyone, to find that innocence, not only in yourself, but in all the people you interact with, even those tourists that come to your island. To take your peace away. No, we're being funny. We're being funny. All righty. So thank you again, Alan, for spending your time, sharing your heart and your wisdom, all your stories. Everyone, please go visit alancohen.com. Just scroll down to the upcoming programs and products. You'll see the retreat and so much more going on there. And of course, if you liked our episode, because we are cool, right, Alan? We are so cool. Please like, share, and subscribe this particular episode. And as I always say, okay, Alan, you have to do the keep flowing, and keep growing. Keep growing, right? Any last words from you?
Great to be with you. I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. It's such a gift.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks, everybody. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.